Right now, on the phone, we're talking to Ginnifer Goodwin from Something Borrowed. Ginnifer, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you today?
I am good. It's Monday, and I'm doing all right, so that's a good sign. So far, so good, anyway.
It was a big night last night.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, it was. Oh,
my gosh.
What were you doing when this all happened? Tell us about, I want to know what it's like for a celebrity when news like this breaks.
Like it is for everybody else. I was flying into New York City fairly late, and I was flipping through. I just put my things down in the hotel room and turned the television on to have some noise, and it was all over the news. So I ended up in front of the news all night.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. And that's the thing, too. They keep repeating the same news, but you're still intrigued. You just want to know more.
Just in case there's new information.
Exactly. Did you do like a little happy dance or anything, or call anybody?
You know, it's such a strange... I mean, I could not feel more relief or pride for our country. It's hard for me to root for death in any situation. So it was a kind of a mixed, because I was celebrating, and then, one of the news anchors said, "Isn't this wonderful news?" And I thought to myself, well, it is wonderful news, but I also feel that we have to acknowledge that we are, in fact, rooting for death.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Not to get really dark here, but...
I was doing that. I was doing kind of like a little leprechaun dance, like you imagine they do when they find the pot of gold, and I was like skipping around like, yeah, that's... and then I was like, it is kind of weird that somebody died and I'm doing a leprechaun dance. It seemed a little out of place.
Yes. But it is such an amazing, clearly historic symbol of our being able to move forward.
Definitely. And somehow you should find a way to tie in that news into the promotion of your movie, because...
Well, I'm having to.
Exactly.
because it's what happened last night, and I'm doing this for hours today.
I can only imagine that will be fun. It'll be a good mix of Osama bin Laden and Something Borrowed, the fun little quirky movie.
I sleep with my best friend's fiance.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about. Give people the rundown if they haven't seen the trailer yet or aren't familiar with the movie. Give them the rundown on what it's all about.
Well, they're calling it a romantic comedy, but I'm calling it I'm calling it a rom, as they're calling it a rom-com. I'm calling it a rom with strategically placed laughs. It is the story of Rachel, a character played by myself, who from about page 1 of the script is sleeping with her best friend's fiance, her best friend being Kate Hudson. And it's about her coming to terms with her love and learning how to ask for what she wants. I mean, really, I find it to be a really refreshing movie of the genre because you're kind of rooting for the bad guy. Interesting.
I mean, so your character is, you're a bad person, essentially.
She's somehow, and this is what inspired me to take the role, was the challenge of making her sympathetic. Somehow, hopefully, you do cheer for my character, because she's technically the protagonist, where the movie's about her getting what she wants. But really, she is sleeping with her best friend's fiance and then lying about it and lying about it and lying about it. Which I just find really intriguing.
Is there any way that this could work as you've played this character now, is there any way you can imagine this in real life? What if there was one of your friends who was doing the same thing and said, hey, I'm with Carla's fiance, but I just love him and he's so amazing, and she was just lying about it? Could you go along with that and be like, hey, whatever makes you happy? Or would you say, you've got to tell her, you got to do something?
I'd say you've got to tell her, and probably if you don't tell her, I'm going to tell her.
So, wow, you're totally ruining the movie.
But that's what happens in the movie.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. There would be no movies like this if everybody was just as honest as you.
Right? No, this is true. No, I've done my fair share of bad girl things. Not that I can think of any off the top of my head, but this is one place I don't go.
I can think of
Not
a few.
with the best friend's fiancés.
All right. It looks like a good movie, too. You guys have a good cast, a bunch of funny people in there.
Great cast. It's so funny. It's really unusual because it's not your typical rom-com. It's really messy and salacious and complicated, and these characters are actually punished for their wrongdoings.
Oh,
consequences.
That's always weird in a romantic comedy. Usually it all just either doesn't work out or does work out, and it's all happy and smiley.
Exactly. There's no bow at the end of this one.
I like it. This might be a romantic comedy I can get into.
You know what? You should. It's not even a chick flick.
I'm going to check it out. Normally, chick flick...
The dudes are liking it.
Chick flick and rom-com usually for me are both not up my alley. There's not enough machine guns.
Well, yeah, me neither.
And if you like it, then I'm going to like it. We're on the same page.
Love it.
Ginnifer, after Something Borrowed, which is in theaters Friday, what else do you have going on? What else is on the agenda for you?
Oh, my gosh, I don't know. I shot a pilot for ABC, and I'm praying to the gods of ABC that it gets picked up, and I'll know that in 2 weeks. And if it does, I go into production this summer.
Very cool. Anybody else big in that? Anything you can tell us about it, or is it super top secret?
It's super top secret. I can tell you that it was written by two of the top creators from Lost, and it's similar, except for we are playing Grimm's fairy tale characters.
Ooh.
I'm allowed to tell you that Robert Carlyle's in it. Do you know Robert Carlyle?
I know of him. We're not besties, but I've heard of him.
Right. You don't go way back, but you go back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that sounds cool. That's got to be so, like, one of the hardest things in the acting business. You know, there's a lot of things that seem really great about being an actor or an actress, but the part where you do something that's so good, you know, that you really enjoy and you put all your time and effort into it, and then you just have to sit back and wait to see if anybody wants it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, like, this project is so fun for you, and you're so proud of it, and then in 2 weeks they could just be like, you know what, not really feeling it.
You know what else they could do? They could call me in 2 weeks and say, we haven't decided if we're feeling it, so in 6 months we'll let you know.
Yeah, or they could call it in and say, we love it, the greatest show ever. Somebody's just got to get rid of this Ginnifer Goodwin girl.
This is true. And by the way, that is one of my biggest fears.
I know. I couldn't imagine. Man, it's a tough business. People give you guys a lot of
therapy after the session,
exactly.
after this radio show.
Exactly. What do you do? Would you prefer doing movies or television, or do you like kind of doing a mix?
I like doing a mix. I thought that I had creative ADD and needed to make movies for the rest of my life, jump from one character to another. But honestly, my experience on Big Love was so magical that I decided to read the pilots for this coming season, this pilot season, and I discovered that that's where all the great writers are going. And so I'd truthfully rather be, you know, I'd rather be working on something 10 months of the year for the next 10 years, even if that means I go a little bit crazy. If I know that the writing is genius, than doing bad big movies.
Exactly. Well, yeah, keep it. I like seeing you on both TV and film, so keep mixing it up for us.
Thank you. I will try.
Thank you. Something Borrowed is the movie, and you can see Ginnifer playing Rachel White and getting busy with her friend's fiance. Not in real life, but in the movie, Something Borrowed, that comes out this Friday. Ginnifer, thanks so much for being on the show, and enjoy talking about Osama all morning.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.